My name's Ed Berry, and I'm the Director of Finance Innovation. I focus mainly on any technology that's not the core ledger. So I've been lucky to be on the journey with the Trust for the last 2 years as we've introduced robotic process automation and associated technologies around intelligent document processing with that. Manchester itself is one of the largest acute provider trusts in the country within the NHS, with a turnover of just over 2.5 billion, of which 1 billion of that is related to non-pay expenditure, and we see around 275,000 invoices a year. So huge volumes of invoices are coming through the organisation. It's been really exciting for us and quite a long journey. I mean, we started a couple of years ago when we knew absolutely nothing about automation or RPA. Probably didn't even know what OCR stood for, to be quite honest, even though we had it in our ledger, and we didn't think that there was an opportunity to do things in a different way.
We started working with Ed and the MFT team over 2 years ago, and at that point they had over 18 whole-time equivalents who were manually loading, validating and matching invoice and credit notes into their Integra system. We were looking to use automation, a combination of robotic process automation and intelligent document processing to take that manual process and make it and automate it. Basically, we were doing this because we wanted to reduce the number of people involved in that process to allow them to focus on different business critical areas, increase accuracy, and also reduce processing time, payment risks, and monthly reconciliations. Unfortunately, the IDP solution that was used at that point was creating more work for us as opposed to actually reducing that manual effort, so we needed to look for an alternative.
But ultimately, our 6,000 suppliers was the biggest challenge because there's huge ranges of invoice formats on there. And I think, if I'm honest, we were at a point where the whole of the automation program was really in jeopardy.
What we found with ABBYY is that training is easier and less time consuming for the end users. Documents that were considered too complex from the previous tool could easily be trained within ABBYY with minimum effort. We also found a major benefit of ABBYY is it allows you to apply advanced functions for a given field across the entire training set instead of applying individual rules and functions to individual groups. This removes the need to repeat the same rules multiple times as was the case originally.
We've got a tool that we think, yes, that will do the job, and it will do it in a very robust and reliable way, so we can begin to have a different think about what possible automations are.
Previously, there was a fair amount of Python code that was needed to manipulate data, and often it had to be repeated in multiple different groups. We found that with ABBYY, you can build a skill without using any code, and if it is needed at all, you don't require a lot. The pre-built skill pages come with many rules built in that you can choose to keep, reducing the amount of code you might have otherwise needed to use.
It was presented back to us that the ABBYY solution was a much more logical, cleaner, a simpler tool to use. I think one of the big points that was very clear from the software, very early on, is that we could put this in the hands of our team, and we were already upskilling them.
We now have, as a result of that, a greater number of invoices are now being successfully processed without the need for manual intervention. This has freed up members of the AP team, allowing them to focus on other critical areas, and our team are having to spend a lot less time fixing problems and getting involved in manually pushing invoices through.
It came along as a mature product that looked like it had been doing the job for a number of years, rather than something that was very, very much at the sort of development phase and wasn't quite ready. So we thought, here is something that works, essentially.
If you do have more questions, you can definitely reach out to us. And actually, if you want to have a look at what exactly Vantage can do for you and help you process documents in a much smarter way, feel free to go over to abby.com/vantage and book yourself an exclusive demo so that we can show you exactly what's possible. But also go visit the marketplace. You can already see today exactly what Vantage can deliver on that marketplace.abby.com, and you can actually see exactly the huge amount of skills that's available there, the huge amount of processes that we can help with.